Hi, my name's Alison Mackenzie-Folan. I'm Chief Executive of Wigan Council. I'm really excited to be launching our new digital strategy in Digital Leaders Week from June the 14th to the 18th. We've been a really great partner with Digital Leaders for many years, supporting them in all of the amazing work they do across all of the sectors, really promoting how digital can transform and improve our lives. It's been such an important part of our work over the last 5 years and more, and we're really excited to be carrying on with our ambitions over the next 10 years. We've seen, haven't we, over the last 12 months how digital has really supported our lives through COVID-19, really helped our residents, our businesses and our communities, and that's something that we want to carry on with. One of the most important things we'll also be looking at is digital inclusion, making sure that we don't leave anybody behind in today's society and our communities. So hopefully you'll all get really involved in Digital Leaders Week, and we can't wait to tell you more about our digital strategy.
Hi, I'm James Winterbottom. I'm Director of Digital Leisure and Wellbeing at Wigan Council. I'm really delighted to launch our digital strategy. It's obviously been an incredibly difficult 15 months through the pandemic, but has certainly seen enormous transformation in the use and application of digital services across the borough. So a really exciting time for us to be launching this new strategy. We've seen amazing acts of kindness right across our borough over the past 12 to 15 months, people helping those who need support with digital skills and confidence. We've seen the launch of our TechMate service, which is going from strength to strength. And as you'll see in the strategy, lots of brilliant ideas to support our services to transform through the best of digital and to make our place the best possible digital borough we can possibly make it, and ensure that everybody has access to all the wonderful opportunities that digital provides. So hope you enjoy having a look at the strategy. Let's get behind the pledges and make sure that we deliver our brilliant ambitions for the borough. Thank you.
Hello, I am Councillor Nazia Rahman and I'm the Cabinet Member for Digital and Transformation in Wigan Council. We are very excited for the Digital Leaders Week 2021, and for us in Wigan, digital means taking all our people, our communities, our businesses and our children along with us to our digital future.
Welcome to Digital Leaders Week, and thank you for joining us at Wigan Council. My name's Sam Tilley, I'm the Digital Innovation and Strategy Manager, and I look after pulling together the digital strategy and formalising the digital delivery programme, which deals with all the digital transformation.
So I'm Tracy Boffett. I oversee the work on the website, our digital platform, and especially we care about our service design that puts people first and develop approaches with our residents, but also not forgetting our digitally excluded residents and our ambitions associated with the digital divide.
So what we'd like to do today is talk to you about what's happened to us in the last 15 months, how digital transformation has really accelerated the ways we've had to work during the pandemic, how it's helped us out of some sticky situations, what we've learned from that, and how it's helped us move forward in developing our digital strategy. You know, for me and Tracy, this is quite exciting because this is the first time in 15 months we've physically been in the same building together. So, you know, we just want to talk you through that in a little bit more detail, and you'll hear from some people who we work with as well along the way.
Yeah, as Sam says, really, it has been a hard 15 months. It's been full of tragedy and loss, and certainly challenging for everybody. But as Sam's just alluded to, really, it's enabled us to champion the importance of digital in driving innovation that puts people first. Without the support to utilise digital technology, we wouldn't have got through it, would we, Sam, really?
No. There's been so much that we've had to do, and the pandemic has really kind of allowed it to come to the forefront, and without working in that way, you know, we've moved a whole workforce kind of out of the buildings that we have across the borough, and everyone's been working from home. So we've had to find solutions for our workforce. That's not without its challenges, and you know, big thanks to our IT service delivery. They've managed it so well, getting the infrastructure ready, and I think that's been really good for our learning, hasn't it? But we know there's a few gaps with people's access to the internet across the borough, and people have a different level of skills. In the last 15 months, our focus was less on some of the normal day-to-day services, but more about how we had to support people through the pandemic. So we had to use digital to allow us to do some of the welfare response, which included, you know, food packages and parcels, getting prescriptions for people, and more importantly, getting some of that social isolation problem resolved.
Yeah.
On the back of all this learning, we've started putting the digital strategy together, which is due to be launched 21st of June. And in the digital strategy, we have 4 key principles, and all with connected pledges to delivering that. First up is Digital One, and Digital One looks at how we work as a council. So it's harnessing everything that we have gone through during the pandemic and how we take this forward into what we call our recovery. So we're looking at pledges which are attached to reimagining the workplace, and that's involved, because the spaces have been empty for so long, how those spaces will change and what this does mean for the workforce. So our HR and OD colleagues are pulling together an Our Place, Your Place, My Place, because, you know, what we've acknowledged is, you know, gone are the days of the usual kind of 9 to 5 office attendance, desks all aligned, but it's given us a real opportunity to rethink that space. So it's enabling our workforce to do more, and even kind of consider what the infrastructure needs to look like. So our Chief Technical Officer and Service Delivery Manager for IT, they're looking at how we might use cloud solutions a little bit more, and really what is that kit going to look like going forward.
So during this first year of the strategy, we're going to pledge that our entire workforce is provided with a single identity, and we're going to ensure that they've got access to the learning and develop the digital confidence as well for those that haven't got any digital skills.
Yeah, and obviously another key part is the flexibility. So as I mentioned before, if we have more new ways of working and we're adopting a blended hybrid approach in how we work, because again, during the pandemic, I think we've done really well at some of that communication across the council. Our chief exec has run some fantastic what we call, or were called, listening action sessions, where, you know, we had team sessions for the whole organisation where we could all get together and be brought up to speed with how things are. And, you know, this has also kind of worked in other scenarios. You know, pre-pandemic, obviously, places like social care and our legal offices, they would need to attend court on a regular basis, but, you know, we've been able to facilitate the move of full council meetings online, and we've also actually developed a new virtual courtroom in Wigan. So another area that has been really important and is one of our key pledges is how we manage data and the importance of data for the organisation. So we've always known data is important, but during COVID really helped shape how we manage some of that community support. We're going to hear from Sean Mellin, who worked in the Joint Intelligence Unit and was also redeployed out into the SDF. So he's going to give us a little bit more insight into what data means for us as an organisation and to our recovery.
Hi, I'm Sean Melling and I'm the Joint Intelligence Unit Manager for Wigan Council. So digital and data are intrinsic to successful digital transformation. Not only can data inform product design and digital product design, but actually the product design, the technology itself actually leads to improved insights, better data. Just digitising that process gives a huge amount of information that we know more about individuals. We're able to use that in different ways, and the technology helps refine it, so it makes it much more efficient and much more actionable, and those insights and data definitely improve the way that we work. So for example, in COVID, in the COVID restrictions, there was a huge demand for data, and what we did traditionally is we were pulling information from disparate data sets, siloed information, and trying to tie that together. We took the decision that that was just too an inefficient way of working. So we brought in a data warehouse, we started to match in those data sets, and we got a better understanding of the resident, the family, and also the immediate network as well. We were able to unpick some of the vulnerabilities and the collection of vulnerabilities that might mean that we prioritise that individual for a service. And that work then went into our contact centres, went into our frontline services, and really allowed us to be much more efficient and proactively go and engage with those individuals. So I think that services have already accepted the importance of data. Wigan Council itself prides itself on being a data-led organisation. But I think what the pandemic response did was get a better understanding from a services point of view about the importance of data structure, both from an efficiency and a quality perspective, and what that quality data could do in terms of service redesign and proactively going out to support customers and residents. And that was really, really crucial. They got to witness firsthand some of the frustrations, I suppose, that analysts have gone through in the past, having to cleanse data and perhaps understanding some of their actions and how they fit in. And in that respect, they got a really good understanding of the life cycle of data, what works and what doesn't, and how their data feeds through the systems, how we consume data, and then also how we throw that back to them as insights and how that improves their services. So I think that appreciation of how data works across the board was really, really helpful. It's something that we want to move towards going forward, working with more services, particularly those ones we perhaps didn't engage as part of the COVID response, and embed that way of working. That multidisciplinary team way of working is crucial for us moving forward. So it's a really exciting time at the moment for data and digital. We're currently developing our data strategy, and we're doing that alongside our IT colleagues. I think the more we've worked together over the last 12 months, the clearer it is that our work plans are almost interlinked and intertwined, and I see work coming through as a continuous workflow. So understanding how their skills can complement ours and vice versa is crucially important for the efficiency and productivity of the enabling functions as part of the council. For the next 12 months, we're going to be looking at data democratisation, and this is about making data accessible to officers, ensuring that we have automated data flows and that we have Power BI business intelligence dashboards that they can access as and when they need to. And within that, we need to develop some data culture and to support officers to be able to interpret that data and drill down in that information and really get the best value for it. So I think one of the key areas that we want to work on going forward is data culture. And that's not just about data quality, that's about data culture across the whole organisation. We know that good quality data is a constant process. We've got to be refining that, nurturing it, improving it. And really that needs to sit alongside the service and the enabling functions. We can't do that alone. So we're looking to develop a piece of work with our HR colleagues to try and get a better understanding within the services about the use of data and the importance of data across everything that we do.
Next, we're going to move on to Digital 2. Digital 2 is all around how we transform our services and working for residents. So for me, this is probably a little bit more of the digital transformation side of it. So where Digital 1 looks at the workforce and the infrastructure, Digital 2 is all about how we can shape some of that service delivery. And the key principle within the digital strategy is that it's not just about the technology. It's about understanding the business process, what the service needs to deliver, and really bringing service design into the forefront and utilising digital tools to make it a much easier and quicker experience. For the back office procedures, and more importantly for that customer usage. So for when our residents and businesses kind of connect into us and need us to do something for them. So the strategy and our pledges, we're making big commitments to make sure the right things happen, the necessary cost-benefit analysis, and there is real value in that transformation. So part of that approach and the role of my team is to really get into what is this going to mean for the process. Are we going to be making services more efficient? Can we streamline them? Will it improve capacity within the team? We all know that things haven't really got quieter for us during the pandemic, and we've still got a lot of demand where we've got to keep COVID at bay, but also go into a recovery team. And that also involves taking a good look at the systems that we have running. So we do have a large number of systems across our council ecosystem. Our digital strategy wants us to kind of maximise and improve the existing systems that we've got, but also look for opportunities where we can rationalise and bring things in, doing more business process evaluation, And we've got some big plays in this area, don't we, Tracy?
We do, and one of them has been the relaunch of our new My Account platform, which improves the user experience for our residents. They'll have their own unique account view, which focuses on what they want to see. The platform is notifications driven, and what that actually means is that our residents will see updates on cases and they'll be able to track the progress of cases in real time. We won't implement any new systems and approaches without fully understanding our residents' needs, but also ensuring that accessibility is at the heart of these changes too. It's so important that we do concentrate on this because we need to remove barriers for people, especially those with any visual, hearing, motor or cognitive impairments, and we want to design right from the start with our residents and make sure we're getting this right.
And we're going to have open sessions where we invite people to get in touch, let us know what they think of the things that we're releasing out there. We've had some great meetings with Youth Parliament and listening to the young adults' voices on what it means to them around digital. So we're really keen to give it the platform that it deserves. We have our big listening festival, and that's going to run throughout the summer, and there are a number of sessions where key policies and key themes are discussed, and there's that opportunity for residents, business and partner to comment and come back to us with things that are important to them, and we're going to be tapping into that and taking learning from that to understand how that might help us improve some of the services. We did some great work during the pandemic, which gave access to the self-isolation forms online, and it allowed people to access things that really mattered to them quite quickly. And I think we've learned together as a service and the wider team in Wigan is that if we focus on things together and in that collective, we can really make some great change happen. We also want to leverage more of the smart technologies that are out there. So again, our adults people-powered technology team have done great work kind of allowing for some assisted living with the use of Alexa and other smart consumer technologies that are available. And what we've actually done during the pandemic and more recently with the schools is we've taken on board and done a pilot with a partner called No Isolation. And these are the AV1 robots which we placed in a small cohort of schools, which allowed children who were clinically vulnerable, who couldn't attend and go into school. It allowed them to have a presence in that class when other children were in the school. It's involved, this little robot taking the presence of a child in the classroom and being able to put its hand up in the class, submit work, do reading groups. It's been fantastic to be part of it, and we're going to have more of that to kind of share with you. This robot has transformed that child's experience. So, one of the children involved has been at home during the last lockdown, and they had the robot, which again allowed them to connect to the classmates, connect to the teachers, and everyone, the parents, the school have all thought it was a fantastic opportunity, and this child's gone back to school after this latest relaxation. They've gone back to school feeling like they've never been away. One of our key pledges is to make sure that we understand all these opportunities on smart technology, so we've got loads of work in the pipeline on how we will do this.
And that, just feeling part of being in that classroom, was a massive difference to that child.
To hear firsthand the difference it had made, and how thankful the mum was and how we'd been engaging. It was just, that for me is why I love doing the job I do so much. And, as we both said, Tracy, that is what the next level of this digital strategy is. Yeah. We want to keep doing more of those things, what really make that difference and that impact.
So Digital 3 is digitally enabled, which strongly focuses on digital inclusion and skills, innovation for businesses and employment opportunities. And I suppose our experiences over the last 12 months have shown us the significant inequalities that do exist, unfortunately, within our communities and the impacts it's had. And during the pandemic, digital was the only way to maintain contact. It was the only way that people could continue in education, which included homeschooling, which myself and Sam's had to do whilst working full time, which brings on a whole set of other challenges. We've been able to work at home and obviously get essentials.
And at the first start of lockdown, we had a number of residents in hospitals and care homes that were unable to connect or speak to the family and loved ones. So working with our partners at Wigan, Wrightington and Lee National Health Trust and the Wigan CCG, and that involved us donating a number of iPads to the hospital and to a number of the care homes across the borough, which allowed residents and patients to connect with their family. And I think it made such a massive impact to their well-being and kind of recovery and health recovery, being able to just connect back. So it's so important that we do focus on making sure people can connect in and get together with the family. Not everybody's comfortable with areas of tech. You really kind of like took that challenge fully on board, didn't you?
Yeah, over the last 12 months it's accelerated our transformation in some positive ways. So we've created our new digital community partnership, which gives our community partners, voluntary and social enterprise sector, those opportunities to tackle digital exclusion together. It brings them together to share knowledge, work collaboratively and developing digital strategies to create better ways of reaching communities that remain digitally excluded, unfortunately. And to enable us to address some of our digital poverty challenges, what we want also to do is roll out a tablet lending scheme for people to loan devices, and obviously that will come with data and that'll be with our library networks and community partners, so that digital access is opened up to more of our residents. And during the first lockdown we went through a project called Devices.now and we were successful in getting some devices donated to us, and we gave those out with connectivity, and we just saw, you know, how that transformed people's lives as well, which has obviously enabled us now to get more funding to roll out our own tablet lending library. And then as well, during the pandemic we also quickly created a TechMate service to match digitally confident volunteers with those residents that needed digital support. We provide one-to-one basic digital support over the phone to those unable to leave their homes due to the lockdown. But what was heartwarming with this project when we first piloted it, we did it with our youth cabinet service, and my own son obviously was at home, homeschooling, so he got involved, and the benefits this has shown has been absolutely life-changing for some people. And what we'd like to do now is show you a video of one of our TechMate learners, Colin, who's been supported from one of our TechMates for the last 12 months. And when you hear from Colin, it just shows what the power of giving someone the right tools, the access, the skills, and if they have the motivation to learn, what they can absolutely achieve.
Right, my name's Colin Robinson, and I did have an addiction with alcohol for about over 30 years. I sought various types of help, and eventually I ended up with Addaction, who are now We Are With You. And it's nearly 2 years since I had my last drink. Life's turned for the better. I was working at Green Slate Farm as a recovery champion, and I was doing one day, Wednesdays a week, and then I just upped that to 3 days a week. But then obviously coronavirus came around and the group ended as a physical group. As you're supporting other people, it's also my support, and it's what keeps me going. So when it stopped, it was a big blow. They were doing a WhatsApp group, and but I couldn't really take part in the WhatsApp group because I didn't have access to internet. So I'd been put forward by Claire Rouse from We Are With You for the TechMate scheme, and I thought, yeah, that's great. So she put my name down, and a lady come out, visited me. Then I got a tech buddy called Liz, and she's been absolutely brilliant. And I had no tech skills whatsoever, couldn't send an email, various other things I couldn't do. I couldn't log my hours that I've been doing in these virtual groups, that's something I couldn't do. And also, when I scrapped my car, I managed to transfer ownership over, which is something there's no way I could have done. So yeah, I've been doing that now for a couple of months now, and it's going really well. So it's a year on now since I started the TechMate scheme, and things are going really well, and I've been helping out on online Zoom meetings with We Are With You on a lot of alcohol help groups like alcohol awareness and alcohol abstinence. groups and self-esteem groups and whatnot, which are a great help for people fighting alcohol addiction, people who have stopped alcohol addiction who are after maintaining their recovery. And you know, the lockdown's been difficult for people in this situation, and these groups have helped people, and I feel proud to have been a part of this. So absolutely, all is great.
You know, and after hearing from Colin, you know, Digital 4 is all about transforming the places where we live and work. You know, this is where true collaboration matters, and if we don't do this together, we're not going to achieve all our ambitions and the pledges for this. But, you know, we want to support and enable our partners, the businesses and communities and individuals to really transform, you know, where we all reside. And this part of the strategy focuses its pledges on our growth and recovery and using digital to make this happen. So, you know, we have the Deal 2030, which is a very ambitious programme for us as an authority, and it's how we're going to, you know, evolve the deal and take us into our next steps.
We're also going to develop a framework with partners for residents who are eager to start a new business as well, aren't we, Sam? And that obviously will provide clear packages of advice and financial support for entrepreneurs.
So this involves looking at how our spaces need to work. We want to develop innovation hubs. We're also redeveloping our high streets. It's no secret that the landscape of the high street is changing for every town across the country. And there's a lot of ambition at the moment. We have our Galleries 25 programme, which is looking at the regeneration of the galleries within the Wigan Town Centre. In Leigh, we have loads of things happening. We have the Leigh Sports Village, we've got the Rugby World Cup coming into the Leigh Town Centre, and we really want to maximise those opportunities, and we're keen to work with you know, services like our planning and regeneration area, and understand how we could get some immersive experience, you know, because again, we want to keep a hybrid where, yes, people will come into the town centres, but actually having the opportunity to join things virtually really does kind of increase that participation. Our people-powered technology team in adults are doing wonders. They've done things, so again, from the health and wellbeing perspective, you know, they've introduced VR into kind of some of the most difficult moments of our life journey. They've got residents who are on end-of-life care, and you know, they've had VR which has shown them and given them some final days experiences, you know, going to the beach, you know, going on a roller coaster again, at times when we've not been able to get out and do these things. You know, as well as kind of all those exciting things, and we know we've got the ambitions in the community, you know, it's also really key to climate change and how we can go green. So again, maximising digital to help us achieve the ambition for our environmental teams. You know, this could be by having technologies that focus on climate change. We can have sensors which monitor air pollution. You know, we get sensors on vehicles to understand what mileage we're doing and how we can make changes in those areas to reduce that carbon footprint. We put new in-cab technology into our waste teams. It's going to allow us to kind of streamline and improve our bin collections. But what it will also do is support the digital green agenda.
Start en route to 1 Upper St. Stephen Street. Proceed to the route, then turn right.
One of the real tests and challenges has been during COVID is how we can turn some things around really quickly. So as part of the response, you know, we had to work with the national requirements to how we can test and monitor, you know, COVID throughout the borough. So we quickly pulled a large group together as one of our workforce cells, which was all around the test, track and trace element of it. and we needed to get something in place for lateral flow testing. So in Wigan we were standing up a lateral flow test centre, and what we wanted to do was pull together a digital solution which would allow residents or individuals to book a test, come into our drive-in centre, notify us if they wanted to cancel it, but then we'd also be able to message them back with the results. So a lot of effort went into this.
Initially, Wigan was selected as one of the test sites for PCR testing, which was the test that gets sent away to a lab and we get the results that come back. The initial setup that we had was on a spreadsheet, so that was very time consuming for the admin staff.
Some of the initial challenges when the pandemic hit, I had to develop quite a lot of new skills, and then obviously I had to work quite closely with Steve Baldwin, with Lynn, with Andrew, with Emma, and the whole team really, the lab, the courier, to make sure that everything was connected and develop what we had and keep analysing what was working and what wasn't.
We didn't know what we were going to be expecting. All that we knew, we were setting up a mobile site on the car park with a couple of welfare vans, and people across the borough could come and get a PCR test. Being on that admin side, we'd have emails coming in and we'd have to process them quite quickly, because it did make you feel quite anxious. There was like 100 and odd emails in this mailbox, and there was myself and my colleague Deb having to sort of open an email, see what time they'd requested, transfer it to a spreadsheet, and then email the individual back to say that your appointment was booked for 10 o'clock. And there was a couple of times I was on the phone saying, the mailbox is going up, it's touching 100, it's touching 200, I haven't got time to respond back.
So the solution that we stood up was quick, it was dirty, but it kind of worked and got us to what we needed. But obviously we needed a better digital solution. So we approached NDL and spoke to them, went through the spec and said, this is what we need.
We needed it just to manage the demand. The population of Wigan Borough is 300,000 people.
The biggest challenge that we had was the constant change in requirements from the government. So initially the eForms solution that NDL was developing for us was for doing the PCR testing. Halfway through development, that changed into lateral flow test. So we had to get back onto NDL and say, look, the requirements have changed slightly, this is what we now need to do, and they picked it up, they understood the pressures that we was under. We probably put more pressure on them to get the solution done, but they was there, they was on the phone, they was creating Teams calls as and when we needed it.
NDL was approached because we already had a relationship with them anyway. I was in communication with Quentin, who's developer at NDL, and Declan, one of the technical staff at NDL, to get the infrastructure set up and configured. Because of that relationship, just being able to talk about the databases and the real sort of like deep dive technical stuff, it was a nice easy relationship.
We were the only pilot out of the 10 in England that actually managed to crack the IT solution.
Part of the council's digital strategy is trying to keep data local, open and accessible wherever possible. By keeping our data local, it allowed us to immediately identify where there was 2 or more positive cases at a food factory, for example, and we could send out our mobile testing vans to do some surge testing at that particular area.
From a personal point of view, I thought it worked extremely well. NDL provided that technical solution extremely quickly and efficiently.
The successes was we ultimately, and quite quickly after the initial go live of the quick and dirty solution, got a digital solution that worked for the council. It worked the way we needed it to work, and it gave us what we needed to give, with the flexibility to open and close sites as and when we needed.
I think it's shown us the art of the possible in a way that we really hadn't appreciated in the past.
So it's a really exciting time for us in Wigan, so please have a look on our website at our digital strategy.
If there's anything that has really appealed to you, or you're working on something similar, we'd love to get together and share that learning and understand how we can maybe learn from each other. Follow us at Digital Wigan. We're going to be showcasing a lot more of our ongoing transformation, the progress that we've had on the pledges, and we're going to be kind of really keeping you up to date on that digital strategy. So, you know, please stay tuned, check into the website, and there'll be lots more to follow when we launch the digital strategy. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.